Hey, hi, hello. It has been quite a minute since I have filmed anything. It has been, honestly, quite a minute since I have felt up to filming anything. I'm gonna take my glasses off. And so I thought I would just share a little bit about what's been going on in my life. As you can tell, I sound terrible, which is funny because I actually sound better than I have in like the past 3 weeks to a month. Basically, I have been struggling with my health for quite a while. A few years ago I had COVID, and then after that I ended up getting the flu really bad, and then I had to get my thyroid biopsied, and then I had to get like stress tests done at one point. And then I ended up having my gallbladder removed. And the last thing is my most recent struggle has been with pneumonia. And so basically this all started back in November. It was like the day after Veterans Day where I spiked a fever. And I just felt really gross and being kind of short of breath and was really having this horrible cough. So that was a Tuesday. So then that Thursday I ended up going to urgent care because I'm like, this is not right. And so I was expecting to have like COVID or like the flu or something. And also I was having a really bad sore throat. And digestive issues was the other thing. I wasn't able to keep any food in my system. I barely could keep water in my system. And so I end up going to urgent care, and basically they run the basic tests. They tested me for COVID, RSV, flu, and they even did a strep test because I was having such a sore throat. And of course everything came back negative. All they really did was prescribe me this cough suppressant that's called they call them like Tessalon pearls or something like that, and they don't work. At least for me, they don't work. So they prescribed that, and basically it was rest and clear liquids and yada yada yada. And you should follow up with your primary care doctor. So the problem with that is that I can never actually get in to see my primary care doctor. He has an insanely busy schedule. He has an insanely full practice. But because of the way it all works out, I'm able to go into like a different practice and see a doctor for sick visits and stuff. So I get into that doctor. Basically, I'm told that because I have all these digestive issues, that until I get those fixed, there's nothing they can do. And they don't even test me for anything. They don't check me for anything. Everyone keeps insisting when they're listening to my lungs that my lungs sound great. And basically I'm sent home again with rest, clear liquids, bland food diet. And as soon as my digestive stuff works out, if I'm still experiencing the fever that I have had for now 4 days, if I'm still experiencing that, then to come back. And I'm like, okay. And the weekend goes by and I am just getting worse. Now I am getting incredibly short of breath. I can no longer sleep because of all the coughing that I'm doing, and nothing is working. And so on Monday, I decide I need to go to the emergency room because I was certain I was dehydrated at this point because I couldn't keep anything in my system because of all the digestive issues I was also having, and I couldn't breathe. I was struggling to breathe. And so I went to the emergency room, and when you go into the emergency room, at least at the hospital that I went to, you get a brief check-in through security, and then you go up to the registration desk. You tell them all your symptoms. You pay your stupid, ridiculous copay, and then they tell you to go into whatever triage section. So they put me in triage 1. And then when the triage nurses call my name, there's 2 of them there, and they're both asking questions and inputting information and taking some basic vitals. And when I start mentioning some of my symptoms, they immediately go, "We need to start the pneumonia protocol. Don't worry, honey, we'll get you a room immediately." And of course, if you've ever been to the emergency room, if they're telling you that we will get you a room immediately, something is fucking wrong. Something is seriously wrong with you. So of course they bring me back. They then take all the blood work. They swab me again for COVID and flu and RSV, and then they immediately brought me back to a room, which was quite terrifying, to be quite honest. And they immediately started me on IV fluids, IV antibiotics, and took me in to get a chest x-ray. And sure enough, there was pneumonia present in my left lung, in the lower section of the lung. And fortunately, I guess, throughout all of this, my pulse ox, which is what they really try to monitor, was in a proper range, was in a good range. So I was able to go home that day. They gave me 2 antibiotics that were both like a 5-day course of antibiotics. I started to feel like I was potentially getting better. I was able to do some cooking for Thanksgiving, which was wonderful to me. But the problem that I was still having was I was still not able to sleep through the night. Like, I mean, I'm talking Tylenol PM, didn't even touch it. Like, I would maybe sleep for an hour, and then I would wake up and have the most horrific coughing fit. And it just kept going on and on. And so finally, it was like Tuesday, December 3rd, I was like, I am waking up every morning, or I'm basically getting up because I can't sleep anymore and I am struggling to breathe. And so I went back to and had a doctor's visit, and once again it was not my actual doctor, and it was emergency sick visit type thing. And so he listened to my lungs and he said, yeah, it does sound like you have some gunk in your lungs. This might be a reoccurrence of your pneumonia. And so he prescribed me another antibiotic, and also those Tessalon Pearls again as a cough suppressant. And I'm like, this doesn't work. And so I started on the antibiotic immediately that night. When I got home, I just was like, I'm gonna start this course. And so I do. I start the course of antibiotics, but I still couldn't sleep through the night. And I was still getting up in the morning and just was so incredibly short of breath. And I had ended up purchasing my own at-home pulse oximeter reading just because I was starting to get worried. And it should have been, like, the numbers that I was seeing were not great numbers. I ended up going back to the doctor on that Thursday, so December 5th. It was terrible and it was scary. I parked my car and then I walked into the building. Except from my car to the office, I had become so incredibly short of breath that the receptionist was immediately worried for me and went and got a wheelchair, went and got a nurse, and they just came right back and brought me back in to get seen immediately. And if you've ever been to a doctor's office, like, that doesn't happen. So they were terrified. I was a little terrified. I was able to, once sitting down and able to catch my breath a bit, you know, things did get a little bit easier. And so the doctor that day really wanted me to go to the hospital. But I wanted to see what her treatment plan, if her treatment plan would work. And her treatment plan was basically adding another antibiotic on top of the one I was already taking, and adding prednisone, a steroid, to help open up my lungs to help me breathe. So I ended up taking the prednisone, and I felt fine. I felt great on the prednisone. It really made me feel like, oh, okay, I got this now. But then by 10, 11 o'clock that night, I started having the coughing fits again. I was unable to sleep. I woke up and was incredibly short of breath. My pulse ox was awful. And so Friday morning, December 6th, I decided to go back to the emergency room. Basically, I ended up getting a chest x-ray. They gave me a CT scan with contrast, and they did see that I do still, in fact, have an infection in my left lung, in the lower part of my left lung. Whether it's pneumonia or it's something else is to be decided. So they gave me some IV fluids, made sure I, wasn't dehydrated. They added a steroid inhaler along with everything else I'm taking. And that was 2 days ago now. And I feel as though I may have finally started to turn a corner, because while I'm still coughing and I'm still like hoarse, my pulse ox has been within the normal range the doctors would like to see, and I felt up to doing stuff yesterday. Now I couldn't really do much, but I mean, it took me all day to do like a load and a half of laundry. But I was so excited because this other thing is I've just had no energy at all, physical or mental energy. I couldn't hold space for like anything, and that's been the toughest part, because like I would love to read, but even that was just like taxing. Like, if that makes sense, I hope that makes sense. But for the last 2 nights, I have finally been able to sleep. I know the first night that I actually slept through the night, I mean slept through the night is kind of subjective, but I slept a lot longer than I have been able to do. And my husband told me yesterday morning that he kept coming down, because I've been sleeping on the couch also, because my bed frame isn't really set up for me to be able to prop myself up to sleep. So I've been sleeping on the couch where I can like literally sleep sitting up. And he said that he kept coming downstairs to check on me because I was so quiet, and I haven't been this quiet in like a month when it came to sleeping. So it made me feel good that someone's checking in on me, but also like a little like, oh my god, that like that's scary that you feel that you have to check on me because I'm quiet in my sleep, you know? So where I'm at right now is I'm slowly starting to get my energy back together. Like today, I have the main goal of like cleaning out the fridge. Like that is my task. That's what I want to do. I want to clean out the fridge and then read a whole bunch of Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm on the first book of that. I'd really like to get that finished. So like those are my 2 main tasks. Like yesterday it was doing some laundry. Today I'm gonna clean out the fridge. Like I'm trying to be optimistic, but I'm also trying to be realistic, because the last time I thought I turned the corner, everything came right back. So I mean, I guess here's hoping that I am finally turning the corner, because this has really put my life into a new perspective. And like, I need to get healthy. I need to be active. I need to be eating better. And I need to finally like push myself to achieve the goals that I want to achieve. I'm not happy that this is what it has taken to push me into that direction, but at the same time, like I need some sort of push. I wish it wasn't me being terrified that I was dying, basically, because I mean, honestly, between the fever and the not being able to sleep and the coughing, and then all the digestive issues that I was experiencing on top of it all, I was beginning to get quite nervous for my well-being, which I mean is why I went to the emergency room. I hate that I had to spend all that money. I hate also that it's taken me an urgent care visit, 3 doctor's visits, and 2 ER visits to get me to where I'm at. But, you know, that's kind of the state of the American medical system, so, or the state of the American healthcare system, so it is what it is. I guess all that to say is that I am still here. I still have this drive to make content, and I'm really going to do that, and I think I will probably at least include a little bit of my health journey in with everything that I'm doing. I mean, especially if I try and vlog my days. So I guess that's really all I have for now. I'm very hopeful for what the future has in store. I'm looking very much forward to continuing to make content, and I hope you keep watching, and I guess thank you for joining me today, and I will see you all in the next one. Okay, bye.